Alright guys, let's play.
Across the board is a game where two teams race around the board to get all their tokens home. The game begins by the blue team putting the first token on the home square. They roll the die and move the required amount of squares in a clockwise direction. It's then the orange team's turn to roll the die. They cannot place their token on the home square until they roll a 6. Any other time during the game when a 6 is rolled by both the blue or orange team, a token can be placed onto the home square. If any team rolls an odd number, they are required to pick up a coloured card and answer the question in order to progress ahead. If a blue token should land on a square which an orange token is on, they automatically move to the square ahead, while if an orange token lands on a square which a blue token is on, they automatically go to the square behind. Teams continue to take turns rolling the die and racing around all 3 tokens. The winning team is the first to get all 3 tokens to the home base.
A major theoretical component of our board game is Pierre Bourdieu's idea of cultural capital. This theory explains that certain forms of knowledge become socially valued because dominant economic and cultural groups want to legitimize their position of power. For example, teaching English literacy to migrants might be emphasized in education because many forms of governmentality, like the requirement to fill in a tax return, rely on a person's ability to read and write. In the case of our board game, the difficulty of the orange team's questions, and the limited outcomes that even a right answer provides them, is in stark contrast to the rapid progress around the board enjoyed by the blue team. When the students play this game, the built-in unfairness will eventually cause conflict, which the teacher can use as the starting point for a discussion about the institutional disadvantage faced by refugees in Australia.
This game is an explicit representation of the imbalance between Australian and refugee students within Australian schools. The players in the orange team embody and feel what it's like to be a refugee within a classroom, whilst the blue team embody the experiences of Australian students. Players in the orange team feel the disadvantage that refugee students may be burdened with simply because of the fact that they weren't born or raised within Australia. By having rules such as allowing the blue team to start on the first roll, whilst the orange team needs to roll a 6 in order to start playing, players feel firsthand how it's like to be disadvantaged by uncontrollable circumstances. The questions for the orange team are also intentionally significantly harder than those for the blue team. This is to allow the students the opportunity to feel what it may be like to be confused or to not have sufficient knowledge of a question, which is essentially what refugee students would be feeling when faced with the same English literacy questions as an Australian student.
We have modified trouble with mathematics equations in order to connect and enhance our students' understanding, as we have created 2 formulas to serve our purpose of the game, which is to highlight inequity and imbalanced power between students with the culture capital and refugee, for instance. The difference between 2 formulas is one of these formulas designed to benefit the blue team with 2 extra points added to the outcome of rolling the dice, whereas the other unfairly constructed formula disadvantaged the red team by subtracting 2 points out of the dice outcome. Therefore, the obvious unfairness consequences would motivate the students to discover the purpose or the core of the game.